Happy Monday, scholars. This is your performance task of the week. So typically we use our books. Now we created a Google Doc for you to use, and we are going to be writing a lab report. So remember what you use in science, remember what you do in science, and this is going to help you with your ELA writing assignment for the week. This is the only thing that's due. We don't have an additional writing assignment. It's just this one. So I expect the best quality work. So before we begin writing our lab report, let's look at the essential question. How can you change the speed of a vehicle? How can you change the speed of a vehicle? A vehicle means car. Think of a car. How can you make a car go faster? I want you to put that question in the back of your mind because we will come back. We're going to look at an example first, and then we're going to start our writing assignment. So, this is lesson 5. What is informational writing? Informational writing uses facts to tell about something real. Writers explain what something is or how something works. Informational writing has a beginning that introduces the topic, a middle that tells facts and details about the topic, an end that sums up the information. Leah wrote an informational text. She did an experiment and then wrote a lab report to explain the results. Let's read it. Remember, Leah is our example. Step 1, study a mentor text. So I'm going to read you first the mentor text by Leah, and then we're going to answer these 3 questions. So, lifting a lever by Leah Dobbs. How can you make objects easier to lift? I did an experiment to find out. I gathered a lever, a fulcrum, and an object. I used a yardstick as a lever, the parts that move up and down. I used a block as a fulcrum. The fulcrum supports the lever. The object I lifted was a book. I wanted to find out where should I move the fulcrum to make the book easier to lift. First, I put the fulcrum near my hand. I placed the book on the other end of the yardstick, and I pushed down on the lever. The end of the lever closest to me was very short. It was hard to lift the book. Next, I put the fulcrum far away from my hand. This way, the part of the lever closest to me was longer. When I pushed down, it was much easier to lift the book. The results were clear. Using a lever and a fulcrum can make objects easier to lift. The best way is to move the fulcrum close to the object you want to lift. When the lever is long on the opposite side of the object feels lighter. So this student took a lever and a fulcrum, which was a block, and took a block and put the lever over the block to try to make it easier to lift a heavy book. And the results were unanimous. Using a lever does make things easier to lift, but you need to move the fulcrum closer to the object to make it easier. So let's go ahead and read these 3 questions on the side. 1. Leah introduces her experiment in the beginning. Write 2 sentences that tell what she wants to find out. So I'm going to give you some think time, and I want you to read this first paragraph. Tell me, what did Leah want to find out? And go. Awesome. Did you put make objects easier to lift? I know that's one of them. So we can say she wanted to find out. So we can say the first sentence is Leah wanted to know, can you make objects easier to lift? And what was the other thing that she wants to know? We need to know two sentences. So then she also wanted to find out, where should she move the fulcrum to make the book easier? So Leah wanted to know, can you make objects easier to lift? Then she wanted to know, where should she move the fulcrum to make the book easier to lift? There we go. Leah wanted to know, can you make objects easier to lift? Then she wanted to know, where should you move the fulcrum to make the book easier to lift? Excellent. We have two sentences. Next, Leah tells about her experiment in the middle. Write two details that explains what she tried. So go ahead and look in the middle. So first and next, and tell me and write it. Tell me or write it in here. What were her two? What two details did you find? And go. 3, 2, 1. All right, back to me. What did you find out? Awesome. That's right. Near her hand and far away from her hand. So Leah tried to put the fulcrum near her hand. Next, she tried to put the fulcrum away from her hand. So she had two. She tried it close, and then she tried it far away. Good job, scholars. Number 3, Leah sums up her results at the end. Write a sentence that tell her results. I want you to do this one by yourself. I want you to sum up this last part. So the question is, Leah sums up her results at the end. Write the sentences that tell her results. So I want you to write your own sentence about the results. Do that now. All right, thank you. Let's keep moving on. To step number 2, unpack your assignment. So this is Leah's assignment. Let's see if she did everything correctly. Leah's assignment. How can you make an object easier to lift? Read a science article about a lever and a fulcrum. Do an experiment, then write a lab report for a science fair. Explain your experiment and the results. In the beginning, tell what you wanted to find out and what materials you used. In the middle, explain what you tried and what happened. Draw a conclusion about the results at the end. The question mark right here, this question tells me what I need to find out. I will answer it when I do my experiment. So what's our question for Leah? How can you make an object easier to lift? For Leah, I will find out what a lever and a fulcrum are and how they work. I need to explain this in my lab report. Also, I am writing a lab report for a science fair. I will include what my experiment is, what I did, what happened, and the conclusions I drew. So, right here, let me break down this and explain it. In the beginning, so your first paragraph, you need to tell me what material you used. In the second and third paragraph, explain what happened. In your last paragraph, draw a conclusion. So tell me, what was the final result? This is what you will be doing. You'll be coming up with a beginning, middle, and end. So, right now, what I want you to do for the rest of Monday is just think about and review a beginning that introduces the topic, the middle that tells facts, and the end that sums up the information. I want you to really think about informational text and what did Leah do? Did Leah, do you think Leah deserves an A? Do you think she deserves a C? Tell me why tomorrow. So, thank you, scholars. Tomorrow we're going to go over your actual assignment. See you soon. Bye.